What's up, YouTube? I've got a special guest for you today. He's also a fellow YouTuber with over 5,000 subscribers, and he's doing some really great things over at Tradersfly and Tradersfly.com. And our guest today is Sasha Evdakov. And I really am glad, this is actually the second time we're recording this because the first time I had some issues on my end with the video. So I want to thank you again, Sasha, for coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Technical glitches, they all happen all the time.
Oh yeah, it's like the nature of the beast. So, what last time we talked, you mentioned something that I thought was really fascinating, and kind of before we dive into the trading and investing part, you talk about how you never had like a quote unquote real job. Can you describe how you've been able to make that happen for yourself?
Yeah, well, it's tough for a lot of people to get into that regimen or to get started in that way. But I think if you start early and you start doing that at the beginning when you're very young and you're very motivated. So if you have any visitors that are 10, 12 years old, that's the time to start. And I guess I got kind of lucky since, I started dabbling a little bit in graphic design and programming, things of that nature, sold those things on eBay, and the graphic design led to website building. So, I was young. I had to borrow my mom's credit card to register for some of this stuff, actually. And as that got going, the web design got transformed into photography. So now you're expanding your skill sets. And as your skill sets grow, your business grows. And, for a young kid, you don't need a lot of money. $200 a month, $100 a month is like a gold mine, especially back when I was young. So, you just kind of get going into it and you build your little nest egg. Now, if you can live without all the crazy goodies and the golden goose eggs, like a huge car payment, as we were talking about before we started the recording,
Yeah.
then you can survive and build up your little business to a bigger business and a bigger business. And, it's just moving along in the path that you kind of want to. And fortunately for me, each step builds on the previous step. And that's kind of where and how I got to where I am right now. So that's how I was able to avoid having a job at any time in my life or working for the corporations, only because I started really young and everything kind of flowed. And with a little bit of luck, it worked out. So
Yeah, I think it's so cool too how you've kind of been able to parlay all of your skills that you've accomplished. You mentioned you're in photography, and then I feel like that should directly help you with what you're doing now on YouTube with your videos. And if people haven't watched them yet, definitely go check those out. They're very high quality, and you can tell you put a lot of time and effort into them. And now, you're able to do that, and I'm sure it happens so much easier for you just because you've built this foundation. And that kind of works with investing too. Like, you're not going to, become Warren Buffett tomorrow or in a week or a month. I mean, this is something that you start with a small foundation and you pick up skills and knowledge and wisdom, and you grow it and grow it until one day it's something great.
right. I mean, everybody wants that magic solution. They want that, they want that quick get rich scheme, whether that's in a business that they're starting online, whether that's investing or trading, whether that's in their regular life. Hey, I want it now. And that's where a lot of people try to go. And that's why you see a lot of people failing at many things and they just give up. But you do have to know at what point do you really need to give up. But, as far as building a business or trading, investing on the market, it's a long-term game. It takes 5, 10, 15 years to see your results. And you kind of have to have faith in it with whatever you're doing, rather than just, hey, quitting in the first year. Because to get a doctor's degree, it takes multiple years, 5, 6, 7 years, plus training on top of that. And all these skills build upon one another. You're not going to get it overnight. It takes time.
Yeah, totally. So do you see that with your Tradersfly website and the videos you create? Do you see it as like a big possibility for people to be able to eventually trade full time, or is that something they can kind of model their way to try to get to that goal?
Well, I think with my website, my end goal is really to focus on that top 10%, the top 10% of people who are highly motivated to learn on their own and want to see the big picture. Because there's a lot of people that just don't understand or don't grasp it, or they're influenced by the media, because the media creates a lot of a lot of hype, a lot of things, and it warps our attention. So, for example, in trading, we have Carl Icahn, Warren Buffett. Everybody references them, but people don't understand that they are actually stock operators. And if you read the Jesse Livermore's stock operator book, you'll really start understanding that. When Carl Icahn tweets about, hey, just had a meeting with Tim Cook about Apple, the stock jumps 20 points. They made billions or millions of dollars off these things. And people don't understand that, hey, they're operating and playing this game to manipulate the chum. If anybody's went fishing, it's kind of like you throw the chum, and what do you get? You get the little fish to catch the big fish. So for me, it's just about contributing to the little guy. So if the little guy wants to learn, the person wants to take it into control, and they really want to educate themselves, then that's what really the website is about. It's about kind of giving you an inside look of what's going on in the market, what's going on in the industry, and what you should be doing and looking at really upon yourself, because that's really the hard part, is looking upon yourself. And all this media, it just warps you. I said Carl Icahn, I'll say Warren Buffett. He always says he's against derivatives, but if you look at the reports, how much millions of dollars they made on derivatives. So it's kind of interesting and fascinating, but a lot of people are blocked by that. So that's kind of my point, as far as what the website's really all about. It's just kind of contributing to the little guy.
Yeah, I think that's so great. So how do you see emotions and how they affect the market?
Oh, how do I see emotions? Well, they're always trying to find a balance, just like in the stock market, and kind of like the teetering effect on a seesaw. So it's always trying to find that balance with the emotions. So whether they're overbought, oversold, they're always going to try and find the balance within the trading markets.
Yeah, and actually, that's funny you mentioned balance. I just wrote a post about that yesterday, because I'm seeing in my life, I'm a go-getter, and I tend to go hard when I'm going for something. If I see something I want, I go for it hard. And sometimes you can go too hard, and especially when you're investing in trading, more effort in the market doesn't always mean better results. And sometimes it's better just to be patient and not try to make 100 trades, maybe sit on the trade that you made already and just wait for it to come to fruition, because it's not going to happen all at once.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like Bruce Lee said. I just watched another movie of his the other day. You'd be like water, so you're kind of adjusting to the situation, and whether you're fighting, whether you're adjusting to life, you adapt to what it is. But if you push it, if you force it, you'll get some cranks. And it happened to me today. Down a few points, I was on the wrong side of the trade. Netflix popped higher, boom, news report, done. And it happens. Losing trade, get in, get out, done.
Yeah, so I noticed you talk about this Netflix trade, and you're cutting your losses really short. Can you expound on that? Because I think that can be a concept that especially someone who's just starting out might not understand why it's so important to cut your losses short.
Well, the main problem is really the psychological levels that go around with it. And with beginning traders, and even I still do it sometimes, or here and there, you'll catch yourself doing it, but at least you're aware of it, is you'll start holding on to things where you shouldn't be holding on to things, because you start thinking, oh, I hope it does this, I pray that it does that. And hope and prayer is getting back to a little more emotional state. It's a spiritual connection. So it doesn't work well. Numbers don't work as well with the spiritual state, I don't think. So you need to block that out. And if you're beginning trader and things start going down, you start wondering, when is it going to pop up? Or maybe this level, then it keeps going down and lower. So you have to cut those losses as quick as possible, so that way you can survive for the next day, term. Again, we said 5-10 years, then you really need to cut those losses short, because a huge drop will wipe you out. And then you may not be able to trade. You may not be able to invest. So hopefully you're just using investment capital. But if you're doing a lot of trading and you're just letting them ride to the wrong side, then your account takes a huge hit because it pretty much takes almost double to make up your loss.
Yeah, I think the percentage is like if you lose 50%, you have to make back 200% just to get back to your original. So like you said, you have
Right,
to make
right.
double. That's really hard to do. And
Yeah,
so
so that's the thing. So if you're only losing a percent here or there, 2%, even at the most, that they always say use the 2% risk rule and 2% of your total account to only money that you can lose. But for me, I always say, why would I trade with money I would only lose? It's stupid. So in the other sense, it's kind of, yeah, just cut it as short as possible because otherwise you need to get into the habit of admitting your faults. And the stock market is going to brutally beat smack you upside the head and say you're wrong, and you need to admit to your faults and say, hey, I was wrong. And if you're a person that cannot do that and say, hey, I'm wrong, or take a loss, then this business is not for you for sure. And you need a little bit of risk appetite. And for me, even still, I struggle with it because I'm so risk averse, and it's tough sometimes. You have to let some trades go by because they weren't right for you.